This is a grade 3 mission 1 overview for Zearn Math. If you're in Eureka Math, it's module 1 overview. The content of each is exactly the same, so this review or overview will work for both. The title is Multiply and Divide Friendly Numbers. The central focus is the multiplication and division with a focus on equal groups. Specifically in this mission, students will work on facts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, and they'll start just developing automatic retrieval of those facts. Of course, they'll look at them in a variety of ways, using arrays, using equal groups, but in the end, students need to know those facts need to have automatic retrieval of those facts. The progression of the mission is they jump right into the facts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, developing those, looking at those in a variety of ways. They take the idea of equal groups from second grade. The second grade teachers towards the end of the year do have a mission where they introduce equal groups. You might visit with the second grade teachers, sending students to your class to see if they in fact got to that and if they were able to spend an adequate amount of time on it. That might guide you in how much time you need to spend on that fact. It is an important fact. Starts with repeated addition, moves to drawing circles around equal groups. I really like the idea of drawing circles around groups because it shows, for instance, you have 3 groups of 3, drawing circles around them shows that pulling them together gives you 9, but they're still broken apart into 3 equal groups. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. It kind of shows both aspects, multiplication and division. Next, it moves into arranging facts into arrays. Rows, how many rows of 4 equals 12, things like that. 3 rows by 4 columns. The terminology here isn't as important as just the visual aspect of the arrays. It's really powerful for multiplication. I don't think it's as powerful for division. I think the drawing circles around equal groups is more powerful for division because division is literally a breaking apart, whereas multiplication is a bringing together. And then from arrays, they move into abstract tape diagrams, and they introduce missing facts for multiplication problems, and they bring those back as addition. So 4 times what equals 12, and then they introduce the partner fact 12 divided by 4 equals what. So starting to work with fact families here, and I think that's powerful too to show them together because multiplication and division as operators have equal power, so they're equally important. Prerequisite skills and fluency practice. Within a mission, you have fluency that's core level fluency. With this slide, I'm making a recommendation of skills that you should work on aside from the core level fluencies or work on more that are contained within the core level fluencies. Nothing in math is one and done. Things continue to come back. And as students master things, we have a tendency to leave them and not return. The problem with that is, even in long-term memory, once it's mastered, it can deteriorate. It can either kind of disappear or it just sinks deeper into the long-term memory where it's more difficult to retrieve. Doesn't really matter how it happens, but by spiraling fluencies, then you continue to hone that specific skill and keep it close to the working memory retrieval so that the working memory can retrieve it more quickly and be more successful learning new material that's related to these skills. So the spiral fluency for this is revisiting stuff from second grade. So addition and subtraction need to be revisited. The second grade does get to addition and subtraction up to 1,000. So 3 digits plus 3 digits, 3 digits from 3 digits. But it's towards the end, so students haven't had a lot of repetition with that. So you need to start revisiting that from the beginning. These don't need to be story problems. They can be really quick, just basic addition and subtraction problems. And we're talking 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes max a day that you spend on things like this. Because, of course, the priority is your core skills that you're going to work on. But these need to be revisited. And then a repetition of addition and subtraction facts to 20. Check your kids when the first thing they come in to see where they're at regarding automatic retrieval. By the 3rd grade, they should be able to quickly retrieve facts to 20, addition and subtraction facts to 20. Check that, review it a little, and continue to review it throughout the year. The core fluencies, so things that will become spiral fluencies eventually, the core fluencies are introduced in the unit itself or in this mission. And those would be repetition of multiplication as equal groups. So what I'm saying is continue to discuss this with kids, showing them multiplication and division as equal groups. The grouping aspect is really important for them to develop useful skills regarding multiplication and division, and I think it will enhance their problem-solving ability. Do a lot of skip counting. It's prerequisite to math facts. You've probably already been doing it. They probably started it in second grade. Continue to do it. And then you're going to introduce multiplication facts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. Continue to work on those throughout the mission, and then from that point forward. The foundational goal, this is the most important thing that they're learning in this mission. The foundational goal is the concept or the content that will be essential and enduring to all future math success, so it's extremely important. The foundational goal in this mission is multiplication and division facts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. And of course, they need to get to a point where they can automatically retrieve those. Yes, they need to understand them in relation to arrays, groups, and they need to be able to solve problems with them, but it's so important that they can retrieve them automatically. What doesn't go away in this slide, I include components of math, and this will become very repetitive as you look at each mission. And these are the things that just never go away, the things that need to continue to be repeated. We've already talked about both of these, carried over from second grade. Throughout the year, continue to throw them some addition and subtraction problems, and continue to check their fact automaticity with addition and subtraction to 20. Special notes are really to refer to when your time is limited, especially if you have a struggling learner and you just can't cover as much ground. It's a good time to check special notes to see exactly what are the most important things to focus in on. For this one, it's relatively easy and most people can guess. To me, repetition of facts should not take a back seat in this. There's a lot of development of the facts, a lot of visualization, definitely important. I'm not dismissing that at all, but kids need to repeat those facts over and over in rote practice sessions. Rote practice tends to get a bad name in math these days, but there's no way to memorize them to automaticity without rote practice. It has to happen. It's boring, so you don't want to do it for hours a week. You want to do it for minutes a week, but it does need to happen. Students need to understand the dynamics of number or develop number sense, and that comes through the models, the arrays, the grouping. The content that you're going to cover in the lessons will cover that, but the modeling doesn't have to be memorized. It doesn't have to be repeated a lot. The anchor strategy that I would use in this mission, students need to understand the grouping aspects of multiplication and division. So 2 groups of 3 is 6, 2 rows by 3 columns. So they also need to understand grouping and division. 9 divided by 3 is the same as saying how many groups of 3 are there in 9 total objects. So I think I emphasized this before, but to me the circling equal groups is the best way to show the grouping aspect. So I would continue to revisit that with kids, make sure they understand that visual, conceptual aspect of multiplication and division, and they should be fine moving forward. A lot of times in these missions, there are 2 or 3 models represented. They don't always have to understand all of them, and I'll suggest one that would be a good one to key on that should work even for struggling learners.